Will a return to Superdome, Sweet Dome cure what ails Drew Brees and the Saints offense?
Or will the Red Hot Panthers ride Cam Newton to first place in the NFC South?
These questions and more answered on War Room's Sunday Night Football preview.
Sunday Night Football, game of the week,
And a
Carolina at New Orleans. The Saints return home where they are a completely different team. Drew Brees, fantastic at home. I believe 19 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in the Superdome this year. And I think that this, after the beating they took on Monday Night Football, even after they got stuck in Seattle, short week of rest, I think the Saints are going to look great in this game.
That was a tough road trip for the Saints because they averaged 12 points a game over those 17 points against the Falcons, and that was a little disappointing too.
Oh, yeah.
17 points against that Atlanta defense that people have been lighting up to the tune of 28-35 on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Something, I don't know, something
They're
just
a different
doesn't
team
feel
on the
right.
road. So,
Yeah.
here's where the Saints are going to get it done. The Panthers D gives up the 3rd most receptions to running backs. If you have a PPR league and you have Darren Sproles and or Pierre Thomas, you're going to be in the clear because Sproles has eaten alive the Panthers in the past.
Right.
And we're going to see the Saints short screen game and slants to Darren Sproles. Those are the 2 players that I'm excited for this game.
Yeah, the mold was established a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Football, as a matter of fact, when Shane Vereen returned for the Patriots, and I think he had 8 catches for 93 or 103 yards.
Yeah.
Was wide open, and it's because of the style of they play that. It's the old riverboat run defense where it's an aggressive front and they push back into like a glorified form of cover 2, which leaves those side slots open, and it's exactly where Pierre Thomas and Tiny Sproles love to operate, which makes it a huge game for them. Drew Brees' numbers recently have been relatively disappointing. We haven't had a boss game from Jimmy Graham in a couple of weeks. This could be the week. Gronk had a great week against them. Tight ends have scored. Charles Clay pointed up some points against them when they played Miami a few weeks ago. This is if you were concerned Jimmy Graham wasn't going to do it for you after you finally made it to the playoffs with him on your roster, I'd expect a classic Jimmy Graham game as well.
I think that, and on the other side of the ball, I don't love starting the Panthers against this team because I think the Saints are going to be great, even with the pressure on Drew Brees. And then, who do you trust on the Panthers offense to who's a big playmaker besides Cam Newton? So if the Saints, Rob Ryan is going to be dialing it up in a way that we haven't seen. And listen, I'm not trying to naysay against Panthers. Panthers fans are probably like, what are you talking about? We got a chance. Well, of course, you're won 8 in a row. It's a great team.
Right.
I just think the Saints in the Superdome gives me, especially coming off a tough loss, they're going to be angry. They're going to want to prove themselves. Another nationally televised game.
Right.
They want to clear their names.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough for the Panthers. I'd even yellow like Cam Newton a little bit, and know that Greg Olsen has struggled against the Saints historically, and the Saints are tough against tight ends, 8th fewest fantasy points against him. So, red light to all the Saints receivers that are Panthers receivers.
The 3-headed hydra of the rushing back attack for the Panthers, all listed as probable, which means that they're all probable for 4 to 5 points. Nothing too glorious, nothing too exciting. And yeah, they do complete the trifecta. They went from Thursday Night Football, meh, Monday Night Football, oh. One of those games, it's going to be 3rd time's the charm for the Saints because we all know they score more than, I think, 12 points more at home. The defense will be big. This should be a good week for the Saints.
I agree.